All right, guys, so we are back to actually pulling out the dash today. So I'm going to pull out or disconnect these L brackets from the dash. There's one of these on each side, and there's actually another bolt and nut behind the kick panel. I'm just going to leave the kick panel in for the moment and see if that works out all right. So I'm going to take out this top bolt, and it is nutted on the top. I think everything is 1/2 inch. All right, guys, that's everything I could think of on the bottom. On the top, we've got this chrome trim across the top. So we're going to take those, it's 7 Phillips head screws out and those trim pieces out. And then we'll get you in closer and show you that on the bottom there's a couple of more pieces of trim there with a couple of screws in it. But we'll start with the top and then we'll do those other pieces. Alright, guys, we got all the screws out on the trim. We'll pull that out here in a second, and I just wanted to note that the screws come in 2 different sizes on this. The 2 on the sides on each side, or these longer ones, they're about 2, maybe 2.5 inches. And then the 3 in the middle are this shorter size. They're about 1 inch long. So there's a difference in those. We'll pull some trim out here. Hopefully, carefully. Obviously, you want to be nice and gentle with that. And that does this spot right here, this upright kind of inserts into there. So be aware of that. Middle piece. When you're putting the middle piece back in, the screw kind of goes that way, not directly vertical, so you're right into the windshield there. So it's the difference that way. And the same thing on this piece, and we'll see probably a little bit better here how this upright inserts into there just like that. All right, guys, and here's the side trim pieces. They're the same on both sides. In terms of orientation, when you go to put them back on, the upper part here has this, I don't know, ear tab, whatever you want to say. And this is just covering the edge of the dash pad is all it is. But there's a Phillips on the bottom. And these are even a little bit shorter, maybe about 3/4 inch or 1/2 inch. At least that one was. Yeah, both the same, both pretty short. And by comparison, this is what came out of the trim piece on the corner here. This is what came out of the middle of the dash, so a good 1/4 inch at least shorter. And that should pop off. So here's what your trim piece looks like, and this is the part that goes on the top. I have experienced when you're using a non-factory dash pad, this can be a little challenging in this area here to get this all to fit and to have that trim piece fit on there like that, because you know, they're not necessarily formed as well as you'd like them to right there. So be aware of that too if you're struggling in that area. And then, guys, the screws on the top of the dashboard here into the cowl, there are 4 in the middle, 1 on each corner, and then you may or may not have them here on the sides. I actually got a clothes hanger to kind of get this dash pad out of the way. I went excavating through some foam here. I don't know if you're going to be able to see that really at all, but there is a slot in the chassis of the dash for a screw there, but there's not one on either side on this car. I think I did have them there on a previous car. So you may or may not have them on sides here. All right, guys, here's the one on the corner, and you can see there's actually a little piece of padding here also. I'm going to pull that out. So I guess that should go back in there. But then there's this hex screw right there. It's got to come out on the corner. Point at that, there's a screwdriver pointing at that. There's the hex right there. So that comes out, and then over here in the middle, You got 2 on each side of the middle. So here's 1, and over here is the second one. And then everything else is just mirror image. There's 1 and the second one in the middle. And then over on the far corner as well, I already pulled out that piece of foam, but there's one right up there in the corner as well. So on this one, we've got then 6 of the hex head screws to come out. And I think our dash will be free at that point. Guys, this is what I was using to take the screws out of the top of the dash here. And really that was all about not having too much metal up close to the windshield where I could damage the windshield. You will not find these windshields on every corner with that curved glass like that. So it was 5/16 socket, and then I just had the little thumb ratchet on there for that. So unless I just really couldn't get it loose like that, then that's what I was using if I had to. I put the ratchet up there, and then as soon as I got it broken loose, then switch back over to this. And that is all the screws out. I'm going to double check and see if there's anything that I missed, and then hopefully we're going to be sliding this dash out of here. So guys, just to get a little bit more freedom moving this thing, I wasn't sure if I was going to have to do this or not, but I am. These uprights, I'm going to take out 2, so it's the 2 Phillips screws there, the 2 that are there for the visor, and then I just loosened this one up at the top, again because this piece nests in here a little bit, so it lets that free up. I already did that on the driver's side here, and well, if I opened the door you'd be able to see that the dash actually moves there now. All right guys, what I had to do, you can see, I've just moved it back about 1 inch or so on both sides. And what I had to do to get that freed up, we had everything, hardware-wise, we had everything removed, but I think, there was some adhesive and stuff in here, sticking this thing still to the cowl. So what I did was I took this screwdriver along, can you see that? There we go. I took this screwdriver along that edge between the cowl and the dash, and made a bit of a cut in the adhesive, if you will, and then I was able to stick the screwdriver in this hole that didn't have a screw. I was able to put that in there and lift it up a little bit, just enough to make it free. Did the same thing up here at the corner, just a little bit of pry like that to free it up. And then around the edge here, fingers making way. All right, and then around the edge here, then I got in behind here, and freed this up, top and bottom, just gently. And then finally I was able to get enough room and really get my screwdriver in here pretty good and pry back on that. So I used the cowl here as my brace and pried back like that, and then that's how I moved it back a little bit. Hey guys, if you remember in the last video, I was going through the knobs and I was like, I took the wiper control out on the old dash, and I don't remember why. Well, here's why. We are about that far out, and that dash control is tight back in there. Let's see if I can sneak a view. Can't really see it, but it's right there. So I did loosen the little set screw up here on the knob, and then here's a case where you use that side of the tool that's got the hole in it. Well, if you get enough dirt off of it, it goes down over that shaft. There we go. And now with that piece removed, and you can see in there it's got like a little D-shaped hole in the back of the dash. And you can kind of pop it out of there, like so. And guys, here's why even when your helper is off on a phone call, you wait instead of being impatient like me. I thought I would get this side bridged up and then go release the other side, and the other side just came tumbling down. So don't do what I did. Wait for a second person to help. All right, guys, so one of the things that I couldn't see it too well from under the dash, so I thought we'd just pull it out and then maybe get to them easier, and I think that is the case, although I wish I had supported the bottom of the driver's side here a little better. But this piece of wiring harness, and it's actually looped around some other, which I think is not as good. I'll probably change that. But we got a yellow one here. Get that done. We got a, looks like green and orange. Get that off. We got into this, I forget what word I want to use to call this. But anyway, coupling or whatever. Anyway, it's connecting 4 together here. So we got, looks like black and red to come out of there. And let's see, what else do we have here? There's another of these little terminal pieces, and I need to, it's this, I think it's, looks like a black bullet, and looks like maybe underneath the dirt, maybe a blue wire. And it's going into this other one that's got a blue and with a red bullet and yellow. All right, so it's 1, 2, 3. Here we got an orange, not sure, maybe a blue bullet. So there is 5 wires in that one. Set that to the side. So we got a red with a blue bullet. We got another red with a blue bullet. And to the other side of one of these patches. I think we're dark blue with a light blue bullet or something like that. I could be way off on that. Okay, so that's these wires. I'm going to set those to the side. And so here was the wiper control. So I'm just freeing that up so it's not conflicting with anything. And previously I had mentioned I think I didn't mention it, the antenna is here. And while we're looking at them here, here's your speedometer that comes through the hole in the dash there. And here's the, where'd it go? It's in there somewhere. There's a tachometer. I'm not sure where it ended up in there. All right, with that, there is the vent control for the left air. That isolated from everything else. Oh, and I had forgotten to mention the door switches. Those come through here. You can get these door switches out. Sometimes you just pull them out. Sometimes you need a little help with a screwdriver to persuade them, but they got the 2 little bulleted ends that stick in there. So those also had to come out. And I think, double checking everything, that is free. What do we got there? Oh, blower control right there. So let me undo that one. Let you see that. Okay. With that, I think I'm ready to lift this up. I knew I was going to forget a few things, and here's one more. This wire that goes out to the, I forget it, I think it goes to the distributor, it might go to the coil, but it's a speed sensor or RPM sensor, and it goes to the radio for a volume input there. So that pulls off right to the side there too. So we'll leave that one. I'd completely forgot about that one. Other than that, we are finally free and clear with this dash. So thanks for hanging out and watching all that and watching all the mistakes. And next steps will be coming. We'll be pulling everything out of here and taking care of the floor, and there'll be a few other things that I do, like maybe pull these clocks out and see if we can get them running. a couple odds and ends like that. But we'll see you next time.